Well, good morning. Today's ride, we're going to go to Fort Langley. We got a bit of a break in the weather, so I'm going to try and take advantage of it here as it changes pretty quick this time of year. So we're going to go to Fort Langley to see the old village, and then I'm going to go by Walnut Grove on the way back, and I'll show you a place I used to hang out at. Geez, almost 30 years ago. So let's go for a ride. It's Saturday, November 21st, and it's a nice day in between rain showers, so I thought I would go for a little ride today. I'm going to go out to Fort Langley, which is not that far of a drive from White Rock, but it's a cool little old town. So we're going to take 16th Avenue out to 216th, and then I'll go north on 216th till I hit Glover Road, and that'll take us right into Fort Langley. So I finally got my new microphone, so I'm going to test that out, and I hope it works. So it's 9.5 degrees today, a little bit overcast, but it still feels warm. So for the end of November, it's a good day for a ride. Fort Langley now. This little community's done whatever they can to keep the heritage up. So Fort Langley originally started in 1827 as a trading post. It was Hudson's Bay Company, HBC, that had a fort here, and the original business was fur trading. So the original fort was about 4 kilometers away from here, downriver. So these trees here, they were planted in 1921 from an original landowner when Fort Langley really started to grow. And they're chestnut trees. I believe they're called horse chestnut trees. And that's basically your entrance into Fort Langley. Now the fort is a tourist area here now, but it's not in its original location. 1827, it was originally a fur trading post, and then they got into shipping salted salmon in barrels and cedar. Back in the 1990s, we lived pretty close to here. So I used to come here on weekends quite a bit. But this road used to go straight through, and there was a ferry here. And the ferry would take you to the north side of the Fraser River. That was the only way to get across to the north side, unless you went across the Port Mann or gone into Abbotsford to go across to Mission. I don't know how many years ago it was, but they built a bridge on 200th Street and decommissioned the ferry here. So now this is a community on a dead-end road. I'll go back into town here and turn left, and I'll just take a ride by the fort. I believe it's a heritage site. Fort Langley National Historic Site. So that's how busy Fort Langley is during a pandemic with restrictions. Just imagine what it's like in the summertime in a normal year. So it's not much of a view, but that's all we can see from here. But with everything going on, I'm not going in there today. Too many people around. Well, right there in Gasoline Alley, there's the coffee shop I'm gonna go to. I'll turn around and find a place to park. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Couldn't be any better. Riding on November 21st?
Oh, yeah.
That's all good. A quick little tour of Fort Langley. Now I'm going to head west to where we used to live in the 1990s, a little community called Walnut Grove. This is the north side of Walnut Grove. It's a community that me and my wife were in when we were in the early 90s.
And this here is 200th Street, where they built this new bridge that goes across to Maple Ridge. On the other side of 200th is the area called Port Kells, which is quite an commercial industrial area. So right on the edge of Port Kells, there's a sports pub that we used to call home, or a second home. Well, there's the pub right there on the right. It's still here. That's the one we used to go to on weekends. So I'm going to pull in Jimy Mac's Pub. So this is the pub we used to come to quite a bit. And interesting story. Well, interesting to me. In 1992, the Blue Jays were in the World Series. And my wife's parents were out here visiting us. So with my parents, the six of us, we came here for, I think it was Game 5 of the World Series that year. And so we booked a table, came here for dinner before the game started. And then once we got here, we found out that they had a promotion that night, that for every run the Blue Jays scored, they were giving the house a glass of beer. So we thought, great. And we're cheering for the Jays, and so had dinner, and the game started. And of course, we're all rooting for the Jays. Good, fun game, and they're scoring a few runs, and the girls don't drink that much beer, so every time that there were runs scored, there's 6 beers that came to our table. And as the night went on, and they're glasses, they're not big, but they're glasses. And as the night went on, we got more and more into the game and more friendlier with everyone else around us. And the Jays ended up winning that game 7-2. And it was such a fun night. The Jays went on to win the World Series on the next game, beating Atlanta. I think it was 4-2 in 1992. And it was good memories of this place. So glad it's still here. That's nice for a Saturday ride. Time to go home. Good ride. So there's a little tour to Fort Langley, November 21st. Couldn't ask for any more. So with all the rain that's coming up and the travel restrictions we have on these days, it's tough to do some touring here in the wintertime. So I'm going to try something a little bit different on my next video. So on the next one, it's supposed to rain quite a bit this week. So I'm going to take the bike out and I'm going to do some tests on the highway about how wet do you get on a Road Glide Ultra riding in the rain. So there's a couple days it's supposed to be raining pretty heavy, and a couple days it's just mild showers. So I'm going to take it out a couple of times and I'm going to experiment about how wet do I get on this thing. So I don't know how those videos are going to turn out, but it could be a little silly. Anyway, I got to do something while all this COVID